So I don't want to take up too much of your time tonight, but I'm going to go ahead and do this best man speech thing. So a little bit about how I became best man and how JL will be the best man at my wedding. We've known each other for quite a while, a little over 12 years. And part of what has kept us together is that we were both pretty ambitious, and through school, especially through school, we lifted each other up when we needed that. And even now in our professional careers, we continue to talk to each other on the phone anytime one of us is having a problem. You know, he knows, and I hope Teresa knows now, that they can call me anytime they need, no matter what, any time of day, and I'll do what I can to help them. And JL will do the same for me, and I know that. It's never a question. But we were talking one night in college, and through our ambition and motivating each other through school, we realized that basically all of our friends from high school had either settled down, had kids, or gotten married by this point, and we had done none of those things. So it became this ongoing joke that, like, hey, if one of us ever does get married, we'll just be each other's best men. So JL will share that honor at my wedding, just as I have been able to be his best man. And if he didn't get married, we also had the plan B, where we retired. We just retire together, probably in town, and then when kids went to school, we reflect on those days and also yell at them from the porch. So that's that, and I wanted to share a little story with you guys about JL. Actually, when I found out he was going to get married, it was probably 3 weeks after he said, "Hey, I met this girl and she's really cool. I kind of like her." So I was like, okay, I guess I better get something together, because if this keeps moving as fast as it is, I'm going to run out of time. So I went to YouTube, got on the internet, and the thing I really liked that I thought was really cool was where the best man would get up, and it would be like a Comedy Central roast, where they bring up all these old embarrassing stories and stuff, and sometimes they'd have a PowerPoint presentation with old photos that the groom never wanted anybody to see. This isn't that kind of speech, but I thought about it. But no, it's actually a story about a camping trip right before I shipped off to India. So, I mean, I don't know, depending on your sense of humor, if it's like mine, it is that kind of speech. Anyway, so we went camping out in the middle of nowhere, and it was mostly because we had never done that, and I was about to move across the country, so we weren't going to see each other, or at least we weren't sure how long it was going to be before we saw each other again. So we decided to knock that one off the little list we had of things to do together. We went out, it was actually really nice, and JL the whole time was excited about breakfast the next morning. All we talked about. He had this cast iron skillet. He was like, hey man, I spent a lot of time seasoning this, it's gonna be good. Kept talking about eggs. We had a coyote run up, yeah, bacon. We had a coyote run up on us that night, and we learned that we trust each other with weapons, because we both had pretty good trigger control. Neither one of us fired, because we didn't need to. Since I was about to sleep in a tent with him, that was nice. Anyway, we wake up the next morning, and I didn't sleep well. I usually don't. JL snored a lot. That's mostly why. Anyway, he gets up, he's super excited about breakfast. I'm really groggy, so I'm not all here yet. I'm I need at least 15 to 20 minutes to I didn't have my phone. I was I need to hit snooze. I need something to complain about before I start my day. So he gets up, and I hear him out there chopping wood and singing a song. You know, whatever it is. He's excited about breakfast, right? And everything goes silent. I'm all right, not thinking anything of it, because I'm still really groggy. And then he opens the tent door. And he's like, hey man, yeah, we need to go. I'm what? I haven't even opened my eyes. I'm what are you talking about? He was like, yeah, so I was chopping wood with this hatchet, and I hit my finger. We need to go. And me, in my state of mind, one, he would joke about that, and I wouldn't think it was funny anyway, but I was I'm too tired for this. So I don't even open my eyes. I'm I'm not getting up for that. But it's nice now because I have something to complain about. So he comes back like 2 or 3 minutes later, and he's like opening the tent door. He's like, "Hey man, we need to go." And it tells me like, again what he has done. I'm like, "Okay, I'll humor you." And I look up and I'm like, "Hey man, we need to go." Like that, and I'm sitting there at this point, and I'm just kind of interested in what's going on. I'm like, "That's really bad." He's like, "Yeah, I know. That's what I'm trying to tell you." "Why didn't you get me up?" And he's like, "What am I going to do, man?" Like, so we get out. I get my shoes on. We drive up, and then we go up to his house. And we break the news to his mother, who is now not having a good time either. And we make our way to the hospital. But there's this, I hesitate to mention this, but I think I'm going to anyway. So his mother, like, very upset. JL's in a lot of pain. We're in the hospital room. They're putting stitches in. So to liven the mood, me with my amazing sense of humor, I take a little photo of what he had just done to himself, and I put a little, like, a sad face on it, because it was in like the shape of like an upside down, like it was like a frowny face, kind of like, basically. So he's got that picture on his phone if any of you want to see it. What I really wanted to get at with that story is the other half of it. So like I've told you what happened, basically the events, but the reason we went camping, one I told you was because we were about to be separated and know when we'd get to hang out again. The other reason is that JL has been the person that has helped me with my spiritual life. He's the person that I have come to trust to do that over the little over 12 years we've known each other. And that's a lot of what we talk about on the phone when we're calling each other up. It's like, hey, I got this thing going on, what should I do? What's the right move here? It's that kind of advice that I've been looking for, and I'm still figuring it out. That's probably the best way I can put it. JL's been very helpful, and that's part of what that camping trip was. It was just for me to spend some time with him, like kind of pick his brain on some things. Some of the only Bible studies I've ever done are with this guy, so we had our Bibles out there too, I believe, in the truck. And what was amazing to me is that JL's always struck me as somebody that was very committed, and I knew him before he found God, and he went at this with full force. And at that camping trip, part of the reason I was confused is because one, had I hit my hand with the hatchet, had that been me, I wouldn't have been quiet, right? And I wouldn't have used the words that he used. They would have been much more colorful, I can tell you that. But it was amazing to me that he had just done this to himself, and he wasn't worried about it at all. That's why I was so hesitant to get out of the tent, because he was like, hey man, we need to go. But he knew that he was being looked after and that he was going to be fine no matter what. And I thought about that the whole way to the hospital. I was like, how is this guy so calm right now? And then I realized it after he said, like, hey man, the good Lord kept my thumb on me, like I'm gonna be fine. I was like, oh, I get it. And that has really stuck with me. So over the last 1.5 years or so, when I've had like a pretty difficult time, especially with my relationship with God or what be it, this is the event that I've thought about. It's like, there it is, a lot of pain. A lot of people could worry pretty extremely in a situation like that, because it actually was pretty bad. And he's perfectly calm. So if that doesn't show like complete devotion, I don't really know what does. And I haven't known Teresa, but just really a couple of days. I've met her off and on. But from what JL's told me about her, she is for him what JL is for me. So that tells me all I need to know about her. And I just want to wish you guys a happy marriage. And yeah, that's it.